Norse and Norse mythology, they are not adept. But Sarah, she will research, and Paul, he must accept. Yggdrasil is a glorious word, crush a whole mountain. Well, Thor's hammer could. These fables are bizarre, but good. It's
stood proudly.
Oh, I love that you did a bard and a court version.
A bard in a court? I don't know what.
A bard in like a fancy.
Oh, a bard inside of like a king's court.
Thank you.
Yes, I did not know what that meant for a second.
I shorthand it because I'm always there.
Well, we've done it. It's our first Misunderstood of 2020.
Oh, yeah. New year, new decade. Same old me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Misunderstood with her, Sarah Oliver.
And that thing, Paul Bianchi. I forgot your name. I thought it was Ball for a minute.
Well, yeah. The ball dropped and I'm still here.
Exactly. Okay.
This
is not the first drunk Misunderstood, which people have asked, but I'm speaking like I'm drunk right now.
Yeah, well, you told me just before we got started that it takes you less alcohol to get drunk recently.
It does.
Yeah.
But
congratulations.
Thank you so much. So 2020 starting out great.
Uh-huh.
Guys, if you want to follow us and our drunken antics, please follow us.
It's happening.
What's going on? Follow us at the Paul Bianchi or at the Sarah Oliver on Instagram and Twitter, or at _Misunderstood. And then thank you to everybody who has been contributing to our Patreon. You are making us paid for this podcast. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So yesterday I was location scouting, and I had yet another one of those moments where we had an episode a long time ago where we talked about like, why is it important to learn mythologies, or Greek mythology or Norse mythology as we are now.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's for intellectual superiority.
That's the only reason. But just my answer was along the lines of just the various ways that it enriches our existence, just because it is so pervasive culturally. And so I was finishing this location scout, and the guy who ran the studio handed me his card. And it was his production company had the word Odysseus in it. And I was just thinking about if you meet someone who has started a business and their business has the word Odysseus in it, or Callisto or Hercules, or like has like one of those names, maybe not Hercules because it is so like mainstream, but like Odysseus, like
you will be plagued with tax audits.
It just made me feel like this person must feel like they have a relationship with this story, and that they like, otherwise why would they choose it? Like, because like Odyssey is a little bit more in like the collective consciousness, but like specifically knowing the name Odysseus, it's like maybe this person relates with this struggle, and it's like I'm filled with those. So
did you just daydream about him, or did you ask, do you know anything about Odysseus?
I actually pushed him out the window. Right then and there.
And he had feathers made of wax, and he burnt in the sun.
He said,
so you were like, should have named it Icarus.
Yeah, there it is. You do remember things.
I remember one thing. What are your New Year's resolutions, Paul?
One of my New Year's resolutions is to be more aggressive.
In what departments of life?
Just all departments of life.
Okay, so just an aggro Chad. You want to be an aggro Chad?
Yeah. Wow. Are you pulling that out of your incel forum, Sarah?
Cool. No, a little aggression is nice. Do you mean assertive, or you want to be aggressive?
No, I think I mean aggressive.
Great.
I'm standing by it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I want to
aggressively and ambitiously pursue your goals.
Yes.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Aggressively push a woman against a wall and say, you're my wife now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, all of those things.
Yeah.
What about you, Sarah?
to be aggressively self-motivate more.
Oh yeah, you also want to be more aggressive in the new year?
Well, I'm pretty aggressive. Just God, really, I want to keep doing what I'm doing, but more of it.
Okay.
And to, by God, book something on television.
You want more spelled MOAR?
MOA.
Mm-hmm.
And I just joined SAG, so that I didn't even like that $3,000.
Well done.
Screen Actors Guild for those that are listening, and also for those that are listening. This is a mythology podcast, so I'm going to jump into it.
Yeah, please. For those who listen and say, "God, I wish they would cut the chit chat out." This was.
Oh, you know what? We make this in a living room. Calm down. All right. So this is a story about a very aggressive person. One would say the most aggro man.
The most aggro man. This is the story of our producer, Jake Lloyd. Yay!
Oh, he just ripped his shirt off and ate it. This is a story about Thor, a man of great brute strength.
But we did an episode about Thor. Is this more Thor?
Yes. There's like 3 people that they care about in Norse mythology.
Okay.
This is not about his background. This is a myth that he's in.
A Thor myth.
The Thor myth.
Okay.
So Thor's a big, strong fella, but he's like a straightforward dude, and magic is not his way. So that's where we're starting off with this.
Magic is not his way.
Magic is not his way. He's a straightforward aggro Chad.
Oh, okay. I like him already.
So one day, Thor and his frenemy Loki were just traveling in his goat-drawn chariot. And at nightfall, they arrived at a peasant's house. And the peasants were like, "Oh, hello, great gods."
Hello, we are here. Let us into your house.
Oh, please, come in. You can stay the night.
We've come to party.
Oh, we're super poor. There's a Bevmo around the corner. I could sell a kid, and we could
been by Bevmo already, and we've bought this 2016 Louis Martini Shiraz.
Louis Martini. Aren't you Thor, the one with the insatiable thirst who keeps drinking and drinking and drinking? Because we're really poor.
Oh, that's misnomer. I'll stop drinking eventually.
Oh God.
And then he does winky face to Loki.
Dink. Dink. So they did that, and the peasants were like, "Oh, you can stay here." And to say thanks, Thor said, "Let me feed your poor asses." And at dinner time, he did what he does. He slaughtered his goats.
Oh.
Because he can revive them.
Yeah.
And he said, like, "Hey, you can eat these goats. Don't break their bones, because I bring them back around."
I can bring back flesh and tendon, but not bone.
Yes.
Okay.
So then Thor placed the goat skins on the floor, and he told them, like, throw the bones onto the goat skins after you're finished eating. Remember, bring all the bones back, you psychos. Thialfi, the peasant's son, he either got carried away or he had a blonde moment, but he took a goat's thigh and split it open and drank the marrow.
Whoa, Thialfi.
Yeah.
Thialfi's strong.
Yeah. And so early in the morning, Thor got up, he got dressed, put on his deodorant, and he raised his great hammer.
Did he stay there in the peasant's house?
Yeah, they all did.
Did they kick out, like I get the big bed? Like, do you think that happened?
I'm sure.
I get top
it's
bunk.
Thor. And then Loki probably like slept under the bed like a creepy little troll that he is. I don't know, slept. I'll stand in the closet. I'll try on these coats. So he got up and he blessed all the goat skins with his hammer, and then all the goats stood up alive, but one of them had a little leg problem.
Uh-oh.
And Thor was pissed because that the peasants don't listen.
This goat is missing marrow.
My goat's limping. What am I supposed to do with a limping goat? And so he grabbed his hammer and he was about to smash the shit out of all the poor people. But then they just cried and they got on their knees and begged.
Please, Thialfi is blonde. just leaning into it.
I'm just a ditz. I thought you said totally eat all the bones.
He's a himbo.
And they're like, take everything we own. And so Thor kind of felt sorry for them and was like, okay, I won't murder you, but give me your 2 children.
Oh.
You can live. So
Thialfi and
his sister, Roskva.
I'm worried about Roskva. She did nothing wrong in this scenario, and I feel like she's going to take the brunt of the punishment.
I put my fucking bones back on the goat's skin. Okay.
I feel like she's going to be seduced like Odin seduced the other young woman.
Roska is going to be just fine. She's a servant.
Okay.
She's just
a cupbearer.
Yeah. She's going to be just fine. So Thor was like, cool, I'll take these kids. Anyways, I'll leave my lame fucking goats here. Let's walk, y'all.
So he leaves all of the goats or just the one?
All of them, because he can't pull his chariot now. He's a big fat man. Remember, he's not even allowed on the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
He's thick with 2 C's.
Whoa, okay.
So Loki, and their new children slaves, they leave with.
He has them pull the chariot.
And eventually they got to a big old forest, which is just where all great fairy tales take place.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And they walked through it all day, all night until they found this big old building in the forest. And
was it made out of candy?
You'll find out what it's made out of.
Okay.
Sassy bitch.
So wow. I'm supposed to be more aggressive this year.
So they enter a building and they were like, it's time to sleep again. We've been walking in the forest all day, all night. I got no goats pulling me. Baby boy Thor needs a nap. And
was that Thor speaking in third person?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as they were sleeping, they were awoken by a giant earthquake.
Oh.
And it shook. And the building shook. And they got up and they were like, what the hell's going on?
What's the building made out of?
You need to sit on your hands.
Okay.
So they got up and they found this small chamber off to the right of the main building, and Thor got ready and everyone was like terrified standing behind him.
He had his hammer.
Oh yeah.
And Loki had his baton.
Yes.
Okay.
His baton.
He's been practicing all summer.
And then they were like on the lookout, and then as dawn came up, Thor went outside and he realized that the big old earthquake was an enormous giant snoring beside them.
Oh.
And then the giant woke up at the same time, and he got up and he reached so far into the sky that Thor kind of shit his pants a little. And Thor was like, hey, big guy, what's your name? This is like the biggest giant he's ever seen. And the giant says,
was the house the giant?
You'll see.
I really need to know what material specifically this house is made out of.
Fucking kill me. It's the next paragraph.
Okay.
So Thor said, hey, big boy, what's your name? And the giant says, my name is Skirmir.
Skirmir.
But I have no need to inquire about you. I can see that you are Thor of the Aesir.
Oh, I'm famous.
But you have taken my glove?
Okay.
So Skirmir reached down and picked up his glove. Thor realized that it was where they were sleeping all night.
How did they not realize that it was a glove house?
Because it was huge. It's a big boy. He reached into the sky.
But it won't look like a house.
They thought it was a building.
They thought it was a building.
A building. I never said it was a house. There's no door.
Oh,
it's
so
a big
it's like
building.
those. Have you seen those structures that get built that are like made out of it's like a canvas covered in a cement powder, and they inflate the house, and then they spray water over it, and then the cement becomes actually cement, and then it's like it retains its shape after they've sprayed it with
paper
water.
macheing a balloon.
Yeah, but
then you pop the balloon?
But then you live in it because it's made out of cement.
I haven't seen it. But
Okay.
I literally can only picture them doing this to a glove.
That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a very old glove that must have held a lot of its own shape. Otherwise, they would have just been like, hey, there's a giant.
Okay, if you
thing of
fucking need
fabric
more
on the
information on the glove, I will make some shit up. It had a bunch of dirt and a little mud, and then it got crusty in the night.
And skin oils.
Yes.
Okay.
Giant skin oils. It got crusty in the night. and it hardened. It was also cold in the forest, so the cold plus the mud helped it keep its shape, and it was like you know how you take
Do you
something
think
in and out.
circumstantially, like some like wrinkles were in the glove that like made benches and like sort of architecture on the inside?
Guys, welcome to our first 4-hour Myth Understood. So we're about to get past the glove. The glove's never coming back again.
Okay.
Here we go, baby. And so Thor realized that crusty cement-filled glove was where they spent the night, and they felt the earthquake.
Uh-huh.
And where the side chamber where they had cowered was just the thumb department of the glove.
Okay.
So Skirmir asked if he could hang out with Thor and the rest of the crew and keep going on their journey with him.
Yeah, you can. I mean, we'll hang around you. You're so large.
And well, yeah, and Thor didn't want to appear to be scared because he's the great Thor. So he's like, yeah, totally. Yeah. It doesn't even bother me that you're so big and I could die. And then
and meanwhile, Thialfi's like, I want to drink the marrow out of his bones.
Exactly. Could you imagine how much marrow is just in that thumb? And the giant was like, well, since we're all going to travel together, why don't we put everything in my lunchbox and we'll just like put all the food together
In his lunchbox.
Well, but he has like a food bag.
Okay, because
And-
what I was imagining was my childhood lunchbox that had Tiny Toon Adventures on it, and it was Periwinkle.
Well, you know Norse mythology better than I do at this point. Yes, that's exactly right. So he put it in like, just one of those little fabric things and tied a knot and threw it over his back,
Uh-huh.
and they marched on. And then in the next night,
Skirmir must have been walking so slowly.
I know that's one of the things where like, what?
Yeah.
Can I travel with you guys? I only felt like taking 3 steps today. Anyways. So the night comes again, and Skirmir, so tired from his 3 steps, passes the fuck out. And Thor grabs the bag of food and is like, I am just fucking starving. I'm going to get in this, and I'm the guy who can eat forever, so I'm just going to get nasty with it. But Thor could not open the knots that the giant made, so he was pissed.
Yeah, that's really embarrassing.
Well, also he's hangry. He's Thor and he's hangry. So of course his next call of action is to grab his hammer and bring it down onto the giant's head.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
I thought like maybe he would be like, hey, does someone have scissors? Or,
Oh fuck no. Thor's so pissed.
Or a seam ripper or...
No, but have you ever had like a knot that you can't get out and then you obviously want to crush someone's head? Because I do it all the time.
I mean, new year, new me. So yes.
Yeah, this is part of Paul's new aggro personality.
Yeah.
Start punching people in the head if he can't do things.
Uh-huh.
I loving it. So yeah, he brings the hammer down onto Skirmir's sleeping head, and the giant woke up and asked, oh, did a leaf fall on my head?
Oh.
And he fell asleep. And then by midnight, he was, doing his earthquaking snore, and Thor did a little sneak
Uh-huh.
back to him. And he swung his weapon as hard as he could, and he sank it into Skirmir's crown. And Skirmir awoke again and said, what's happening now? Did an acorn fall on my head? And Thor's just like, yeah, no, you woke up and something must have disturbed you, but it's only midnight, so you should fall back asleep. And then
Asking, did an acorn fall on my head? That I feel like the implication there is that it's happened to him before. An acorn has fallen on his head, which means
why? Why is this what you're crying?
it's just like, well, because like it couldn't have happened when he was walking because he's too tall for an acorn to fall on his head at that point. So it happens to him often when he's sleeping or when he's laying down.
No, the point is it's an emasculating thing for Thor to hear.
Okay.
He's trying to murder this guy with all his might, and he goes, "The leaf hit me. Was that was that little drop an acorn?
Was that a tiny penis on my head?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
You are grabbing all the details that I just want to fly past." So he decided if this giant piece of shit falls asleep again, I'm gonna just murder the hell out of him. I'm gonna really get him.
What makes him believe that he can do this?
Because he's Thor.
Okay.
There's like I said, brute strength, not very wizenly.
Okay. Wizenly. I like it.
So right before the sun comes up, Thor got up and just charged at the sleeping giant as fast as he could, and he brought down the hammer with his full 100%, 110% Thor strength. And he struck Skymir's temple.
Oh, okay.
And the force of the blow was so powerful that the weapon sank deep into the giant's flesh. And Skymir simply stroked his face and said, "Oh, are there birds in the trees above me? I'm sure something fell on my face as I woke up."
Bird shit.
So Thor did the sad Charlie Brown walk away.
Oh.
And later, as everyone was dressing in the morning and getting ready to continue on the journey, Skymir took the bag again and turned away from their route back into the forest. And everyone was so happy to see him go that they just kept going.
He was only slowing us down.
Yeah. That they just kept going until they came to this big old castle that kind of popped up out of nowhere in these plains.
All right. What, is it a castle or is it a glove?
Fuck you, it's a castle.
Okay.
I said we're done with the glove. We're done with the glove. We're done with the acorn. So there are giant gates. Like this is literally a castle for giants.
Okay.
Yeah. And Skymir's gone. He's just like, I'm going to take all this food. Bye.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So everyone was able to get into the castle because it was so big just by squeezing through the gates because they're little regular sized people.
Yeah.
And as they did, they saw a giant hall filled with giants who were seated on benches, giant benches. And there was a throne. And at the head of them all was the king, Utgard Loki.
What? Loki was the king?
Utgard Loki.
Utgard Loki.
So there's regular Loki hanging out with
Uh-huh.
Thor.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a king of the giants named Utgard Loki.
And they're one and the same?
Nope.
No.
Maybe.
But
Definitely not for this one.
Okay.
So Thor and his crew came up to Utgard Loki, and he right away was like,
And Utgard Loki happened to be getting up to go to the bathroom right then and stepped on them and murdered them all.
oops. Yeah. Right away, he was like, as you greet all new people, hey, what cool shit can you do? That's Utgard Loki's first question is like, what feats can you perform?
Oh, maybe it's like that royalty thing of like, who are these people? They bore me.
Entertain me.
Entertain me. What feats can you do?
And
can
he
you
said-
sing?
Can you sing?
Can you please sing my favorite song ever?
And then Roskava, who has no other part in this entire story, she sings.
Does she?
No,
Oh.
but she doesn't. You never hear about her again.
Roskar sings his favorite song ever, which of course is
Let me smell your.
yeah, it's "Let Me Smell Your Dick" by Risque.
Yeah. So, Utgard Loki says, as no one can stay here with us who does not have some particular skill or talent at which he is better than other men. So Loki, regular Loki, confidently says, motherfucker, get some food out. Let's do an eating contest.
Okay.
No one can eat like me. And for no one can eat faster than I.
Loki says no one can eat faster than him.
Mm-hmm.
Utgard Loki or regular Loki?
Regular Loki says that. So Utgard Loki.
But isn't Thor famous for eating?
Well, Thor's a big drinker.
Okay.
He has a giant appetite, but Loki, it's not about quantity. It's about, I guess, speed.
Okay. He's like the hot dog eating guy from Japan? Got it.
Yeah. So Utgard Loki was like, that sounds great. I have this fat bitch, a giant named Logi.
Okay.
And he's going to compete against Loki and Loki. So they sat
So there's Utgard Loki, Logi, and Loki.
Yeah.
Got it.
And they sat at the either side of a big long table. Okay.
Uh-huh. Was Loki on a stack of books?
Yes.
Okay.
And there was giant dish filled with meat and spreading over the whole table. And they basically had a Lady and the Tramp style eat and see who got to the other side. It was like meat tug of war.
Oh.
Yeah. So eventually they would meet in the middle. It was the kind of...
That's cute.
It is. It's Lady and the Tramp style. So they went as quickly as they could as the competition started, and Loki ate all the meat off all the bones, but Loki had eaten all the meat, the bones, and even the dish itself.
Oh, and also the marrow on the inside?
Well,
Yes. That's all Thialfi wants to know.
Yeah, Thialfi is like, get the marrow. So Loki lost that contest.
Whoa.
So Utgard Loki then turned to Thialfi and asked, so what's your deal? And
I love marrow.
and what would you do for marrow? Would you run very, very fast?
I would run faster than the speed of sound.
So there you go. Thialfi was a fast runner, and he offered to compete in a foot race. And Utgard Loki...
Thialfi is just a regular thing.
Yeah, he's just a human.
Regular human.
He's a peasant.
Okay.
But still, in order to chill with my crew, you need to have some cred.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Utgard Loki called upon another giant named Hugi
Okay.
to run against Thialfi, which again, is this fair? This is a human versus a giant. So in the first race, Hugi was so far ahead that he turned around and met Thialfi face to face.
Okay.
Then Thialfi was like, no, give me another shot. I got this. The second race was merely the same situation again. And the third time, Thialfi was like, I know I can do this. I don't know why. I would be very tired at this point.
Usually the more I run, the faster I go.
I was just warming up. But by the time that Hugi had reached the end of the trek, Thialfi had only run half its length. Ouch. So
Smoked him.
yes. So that was decided, Thialfi, you're a big old loser. And then it came time for Thor to prove he's the king.
What do you do, Raska? I'm a woman. Okay, we'll move. We'll skip you.
Yeah, exactly. So he was like, just thinking off the top of my head, what do I do? How about a drinking contest?
Okay.
Yeah. So Utgard Loki had his servant bring out a special horn that his men used for such events. He explained that it was considered admirable to empty the horn in one pool, but some people took two, but no one was such a shitty drinker that they couldn't drain it in 3 draughts. Like,
Yeah.
come on. So Thor took a look at the horn, and it didn't seem too big to him. It was long, but he was extremely thirsty. He was ready to go, and he always loved him a big gulp. So he picked it up, brought it to his lips, and chug, 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 chug. But when he ran out of breath, the mead had hardly moved at all.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Utgard Loki said that he was like, no way. There's no way Thor of the Aesir can't drink this horn. What the hell? Like, try it again. So he tried it a second time. Thor put the horn to his mouth, and he tried to swallow even bigger gulps. He held his breath for even longer.
And this is mead too.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
No, that's Thor's mead and butter. Be aggressive, Paul. Drink more mead. So he struggled, and he held his breath, and he held the horn as high as he could, and he was chugging and chugging and chugging. And then as he was chugging and lifting the horn and struggling, Utgard Loki says, "What is the matter, Thor? You'll be lucky to drain the horn even the third time around. Maybe you should try a different contest." So Thor was pissed the fuck off, and he tried even one last time. And this time he made a little bit of an impact on the thorn, but still did not empty it.
Okay.
Do you think you want to try something else? You obviously are not going to get anywhere with this.
Utgard Loki is so snide.
Yeah, he's rude. I will, said Thor.
Is he like not drunk at all from those?
No, he's
3
fine. No,
Okay.
he's cool. He's cool.
Okay.
So, what do you suggest? This may not sound like a very great feat, but the young boys here tried to lift my cat above the ground. I would not even have mentioned it to you if I'd not already seen that you are a much less impressive person than I thought. Quite a rude host, right?
Yeah.
So that right at that moment, a big gray cat came into the hall, and Thor grabbed the underbelly of the cat and tried to raise him, but the cat's back just arched, and his feet were still on the ground. And he could only...
Is it because he was the size of like the lower half of the cat's feet? Like that, like he has to like push up off the ground?
No, he's picking it up. He's reaching over it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so he
I'm
can
just
only
trying to
get...
figure out the scale here of everyone.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's where I get fucked up with the giants too, because like somehow certain gods impregnate the giants. And
Yeah.
you're like, what? It's like throwing a toothpick into a volcano, but I guess it works. Like Odin had sex with that giantess 3 nights before ruining her life.
Yeah.
So
I can never forget that one.
so cold. So he pulled and he pulled and he pulled and he got one whole paw off the ground. And Utgard Loki, of course, cattily said, just as I expected, it is a big cat and Thor is small compared to us. So Thor was in a fucking rage over this, and he wanted to prove his strength and his courage, and he offered to just beat the shit out of someone. He's like, come on, I'll fight fucking any of you. I'm the strongest guy. And
He's just
Utgard,
having the worst day.
he really is. And Utgard Loki looked around and was like, I don't see anyone here who wouldn't think it beneath themselves to fight you, but perhaps you could take on my old nurse, Ellie.
Oh, no.
So Utgard Loki ordered this old woman to wrestle Thor.
Okay.
And
her name's Ellie?
yeah, Ellie. And the harder Thor fought, the firmer she stood. She was like, me, you can't knock off my center of gravity, and I'm an old lady. And Thor just kept trying to knock her down, and finally he lost his footing and fell onto one knee.
Whoa.
And so Utgard Loki, brought the fight to a mercy halt and was like, oh, there's no point in Thor continuing with further contest against my people. Oh, it's so sad. It's not even funny anymore. So they spent one last night in the castle, and the next morning, Thor and his friends departed. Utgard Loki accompanied them on the way and asked Thor what he thought of his visit.
What a weird thing to ask.
Did you have a nice time?
Did you enjoy trying to fight my old nursemaid?
Yeah. Could you give us 4 stars on Travel Advisor, please?
No.
And so Thor, he was honest. He was like, this was very embarrassing. Furthermore, I know you will say that I am a man of little consequence, which irks me.
Okay.
And Utgard Loki then said, now that we are outside the castle, I will tell the truth. While I am alive, you will never set foot in my castle again.
Oh.
I swear that if I had known before that you had sufficient strength to bring us to close disaster, you would never have entered in the first place. I tricked you with illusions. It was I that first met you in the forest. I had fastened the provisions bag with magical bonds so that you could not open it. And perhaps you noticed a flat mountain near my castle with 3 valleys. Those were the marks of the 3 blows of your hammer. I cunningly set the mountain between myself and you.
Okay.
Utgard Loki was schemier.
Mm-hmm.
I also deceived you in the contest. When Loki competed at eating, he rivaled fire, which devours everything in its path. So Loki was...
That's some high quality magic right there.
Mm-hmm. In running, the Alfie competed against Thought, whose speed no one can match. The other end of the horn...
Well, not Thealfi's thoughts, though.
Bone marrow. The other end of the horn, from which you were drinking, was dipped in the sea, so you never had a chance of draining it. But he got pretty close.
Yeah.
Lifting the cat's paw was a mighty feat, for the cat was the powerful Midgard serpent, which encircles the entire world. And in the wrestling, you contested with Old Age, who defeats everyone despite their strength. Now we must part, and it will be better if we do not meet again.
So Ellie was the concept of old age.
Mm-hmm.
She looks good.
Be warned that I will always defend my castle with similar tricks. And also when he wrestled the serpent, it's like how, how the Atlas, the earth is on its angle.
Yeah.
So when he wrestled the serpent that circled the world, he put the world on a tilt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he did drain quite a bit of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Thor listened to this, he got super pissed and was like, hammer time. Do, 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 do. But by the time the hammer got to him, Utgard Loki was gone. Vanished. Smoke bomb. And when he turned towards the castle, that shit was gone too.
Oh, so magical.
So Thor and Loki and probably his human slaves went back to his home in Asgard. All Charlie Brown walking.
And he never got his goats back.
I got different goats, I'm sure.
Oh, he got different.
No,
magical-
actually, I think I've read a version where he just keeps those goats and like just one of them's lame and he's really pissed. I've also heard a version that Loki was the one who was like, no, you should eat that fucking marrow.
Yeah.
Like he was just a bitch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which makes more sense than the kid just disobeying Thor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is like one of the weirder sort of fables, kind of like
yeah, but I also it feels really familiar to me. Like I feel like I've seen it animated or a telling of this.
Yeah, because this is sort of kid friendly, and I know this one really well because I have a kids Norse mythology book that I read to the kids I watch.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, there's murder. Can I read this part? But they need to know.
They need to know.
So yeah, this is one that you can tell the kids.
Yeah, I also think that just like murder doesn't resonate with children in the same way. So you're good.
But if Aggro Paul has his way, all the kids will know about murder.
They must all know.
And yeah, this is one where I guess there's a bunch of different retellings because like whatever the version was pre-Christianity, it might have, there was some things I read said like, yeah, Loki was supposed to be Utgard Loki and he's not there, but some versions have him in the contest with the fire.
Oh, okay.
Like this is the one that is now canon, but there's different tellings and yeah.
Well, that was a tricky giant.
Tricky giant, magical giant. And that's like Thor is Mr. like, let me be direct and straight to the point. So magic and stuff is all Odin Loki's game. He doesn't fuck with that shit.
Yeah.
He gets on his damn nerves.
Odin Loki.
Yeah. They are very similar, and you don't hear about that in the Marvel movies.
No.
Do you, Anthony Hopkins? I'm
surprised I've been Anthony Hopkins this entire time.
You've been a stiff glove
I sure
with
have.
Anthony Hopkins inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the story of Utgard Loki, and as I predicted, that's a long fucking story.
It is a long yeah. But I liked it.
Good. Any questions? What did you learn?
So in the stitching of giant gloves, like
fucking kill me. Okay, guys, this has been Myth Understood. We love you so much. Come on down to the grand opening of my new restaurant, the Alfie's Bone Marrow House.
Wow, tell me more.
Well, we got all your favorite bone marrow recipes on the menu. Everything has bone marrow. You want a bone marrow omelet?
Yeah.
Do you want a bone marrow soup? That's easy. Do you want bone marrow cauliflower blooming onion?
Yeah.
Well, I got it all. We deep fry the bone marrow. We pan sear it. We British baking show it.
You British baking show it?
Yeah. What other ways can you cook food? We Instapot it. So come on down. And you know who cooks is my sister in the kitchen because she's a woman. We don't need to talk about her. Ratskava.
I also have thoughts.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh no.
All right. That's enough of this shit. Guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Myth Understood with your hosts here, Sarah Oliver, Paul Bianchi, and of course, the glove.
And of course, the glove. It is here. We've recorded this episode from
live inside of the crusty glove.
Yes. And please be sure to follow us at the Sarah Oliver and at the Paul Bianchi on social medias. And you can follow this podcast at _Myth Understood on social media as well. Please also check out our network, which is Dragon Wagon Radio, and you can follow at It's Dragon Wagon on Twitter and Instagram. And you can continue to show your support by checking out the shop, the Dragon Wagon shop, and spending your monies on mugs and shirts because that helps.
Hell yeah.
Please also continue to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. That helps people find us. And also, if you're feeling crazy, get crazy. She's really into this hype man
hype
thing right now. Follow us over to Patreon, and you can check out just all the additional wackiness that we do.
Wacky.
Yeah.
Night.
Hi, this is Wingman Steve.
Hi, this is Lily.
And you should listen to High School Never Ends, which is a podcast about
Pop punk music.
You might hear me and Lily talk about some of our favorite bands like
Blink 82 and Yellow Card.
Tune in every other Thursday. Follow us on social media at HSNEPod. And don't just do it for me.
Do it for Lily.
It's Dragon Wagon.